So I've never really made a guide video before, but I'm going to talk about the little bit that I have learned in, I think, 200 hours of gameplay. But first off, we're going to start with the tactical. Now, I'm not too sure that the weapon matters a whole lot if you know the fundamentals. The biggest things that you want to focus on getting better with is knowing what your enemy is going to do or being able to see their telegraphs. Parrying is a massive part of it, and dodging is helpful, but it's nowhere near as powerful as parry. You can parry pretty much everything. The only thing you can't is anything that has that illuminated orange attack. So with the tactical, I mean, I'm sure that there's going to be a tier list of this gun is the best and this gun is the worst, but I legitimately do not care about that stuff. You could play with garbage and have unleveled weapons, and so long as you know or have a pretty good grasp on where you need to improve and what's hitting you and when you should retreat and when you should press the advantage or what targets are priority, I think you could get through the game. I've seen videos of some people getting through the game with poor weapons. But when it comes to this guy, the most important target I feel is this Emperor's Vengeance. Killing a Majoris level or higher enemy restores your primary weapon's ammo by 1 mag. Cannot exceed a maximum ammo capacity. Cooldown 30 seconds. This is kind of what's going to keep you just pumping away if you're managing to kill those Majoris. It'll keep you pretty well stocked on ammo. If it comes to my advice is if you want to really get into the tactical to kind of see just how strong it can become, or maybe your fingers are used to other classes, just go try to get to Emperor's Vengeance. I would start with Melta just because it's like dumb easy. With Melta, your primary objective is to just take out the small units to leave the big units open for a duel, or yeah, it just opens up getting rid of the chaff to take out the bigger units a lot easier. What I generally do with the Melta is after I've cleaned out a lot of the smaller units, I will duel the warriors, or maybe 2v3 or 3v1, whatever they're trying to do. I'll just try to parry them to death and get some pot shots in. But another thing I like to do with the Melta is hit them with the Melta shot. It'll stagger them. Then I go in for some melee. Depending on the situation, I'll continue the melee. Maybe go for a parry or wait for a parry. Not long, mind you, but enough time, like just to see what they're getting ready to do. You definitely don't want to be spamming buttons. It's kind of like a dance, 1, 2, 3, Melta, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, Melta, heavy attack, 1, 2, parry. Like, you'll get your own system down. My favorite thing, since he's stuck with the chainsword, is I like to go 1, 2, 3, and then go into a heavy with the 4th. I believe it's the 4th. But whatever gets you to the stomp. Sometimes you can sneak out a stomp right before a parry, and they take both those hits. But yes, the Emperor Vengeance is great. If you see a group, just to get your muscle memory going with the Auspex, especially if there's Majoris, just Auspex immediately, go in there with the Melta and just, blow them away. I think that's everything that I can think of with the tactical. When it comes to this the bolt rifle with underslung grenade launcher, oh my god. It's clunky as balls when you first start out with it, and it feels really weird to not have the power of the Melta. But once you get kind of familiar with this weapon and you get familiar with the Auspex and when to use it, and you get familiar with aim down sights, because with the Melta I barely ever ADS, the underslung grenade launcher bolt rifle is it's crazy. You have so many options just because the Melta it can handle pretty much everything except for anything that's really large. It kind of struggles. At least that's what I've noticed. But with the bolt rifle and underslung grenade launcher, you have the option with the bolts to do pretty good damage. And then the grenades, like, they do crazy damage, especially if you have Auspex skin and you manage to hit something with all the grenades. And I think I have like 16 or 14 grenades once I hit Relic with it. I don't know. He's just a really good class, and I know they say that he's kind of like a, some people believe he's like an all-rounder, but when it just comes to damage output, especially with your team, he's very tactical. He's just positioning is pretty important because he doesn't have that oh shit I'm about to die button. But when you see an opportunity to make a play, uh, he can capitalize pretty well, even just by himself, depending on how well you've read the situation. Now the Assault Marine, he gets a fucking ton of hate, and I don't know why. I get that he's kind of clunky or whatever. I've managed to launch myself off of a cliff and be stuck down there with the hordes that look all cinematic when they're attacking. I've launched myself down there with the hordes, taken tons of damage, and in that particular mission I had the Gene Seed. And yeah, so you can get yourself into a bit of trouble. Learning the jetpack is a little weird. There is sometimes you'll charge up the jetpack and go slamming down for a nice juicy just gore fest, and nothing will die. That's my biggest complaint with him is sometimes you'll charge up the pack, slam, and nothing will die. That's really brutal. But the amount of hate that he gets, I just don't quite understand it. He's definitely a high skill class. You cannot make too many mistakes. The big beefiness of him is, I believe, two things. The 50% more gun strike damage, it doesn't seem like it'd be that important, but once you start feeling the tempo of a fight with a Majoris, it's almost kind of like in a fighting game you have rounds or whatever. But in this case, it'd be like the thing that I mentioned earlier where you have a 1, 2, 3 swing, and then you go into a parry, and then a gun strike, and then you got to go to a 1, 2, 3 swing, and then you got to wait for a possible parry or a dodge, and then another gun strike, and then maybe you got to do that a third time. But with this 50% more gun strike damage, you do not have to go through that as much. Sometimes it's just a 1, 2, 3 parry gun strike and they're dead. Well, they're in execute range, which is really nice. The proven efficiency is great. I think it's really good. The other ones are, I mean, they're nice, but I firmly believe in the proven efficiency. But that's just personal preference. This Zealous Blow, this is just a game changer, I think. The way this works is just kind of as it says, a ground pound kill restores jump packs charged by 10%. Okay, well now you're a Melta. You are the Melta. If there's a ton of little enemies and you see that they're coming, you just charge up your ground pound and slam yourself into a ton of the little guys, or even aim it to such a degree that you could hit a Majoris, but you're mostly killing all the guys around him, so you can kind of stagger him a bit. Maybe you knock him into execute range, you execute him, and then you continue on your merry way of smashing around the map. Now, if that thing happens where you go up into the air and you try to slam down on the enemy and it doesn't kill them, I mean, that's a massive, that's massively annoying, but, you know, shit happens. But again, when it comes to this guy, he can't make, I know some people are like, oh, you know, the Vanguard's the better assault marine than the assault marine, and it's just like, not really. The Vanguard, if he takes the Melta, you know, he can do what an Assault Marine does, comparable. I think it all depends on the Assault Marine, or if he gets boned or not on the ground pound, because you still get the heavy bolt pistol. That's just, I think it's a really good side armor. I mean, it could just be in my head, but I enjoy that weapon, and to have the room clear option of the hammer, and then the charge, and then the heavy bolt pistol, it's really nice, and you don't take the negatives of having a Melta. which are not a lot, mind you, but still there are negatives. You know, having to get close to a neurothrope or a zoanthrope can get kind of annoying, especially if it's a hallway, or having to get close to a Carnifex could be a bit of an issue. When it comes to the Carnifex, I always like to put, the magical railing or the magical pit between me and that guy, and then just sit there and pot shot him. I barely ever go into melee with those guys. I've tried many times to do so, but he can be kind of finicky, especially if you're Assault Marine with a hammer. Like one miss, a Carnifex will definitely jack you up. Even when it comes to the sniper, I mean, if you're not careful with the snipers and you're charging up a ground pound, they can clip you, and it's a ton of damage. Even a whiff with a hammer can be really bad. I know I'm just yapping a lot, but I'm trying to get my thoughts out there. Yeah, Assault, I think it's just overly hated, and I just don't think it's for bad players. I think if coming from, again, I've mentioned fighting games, from a fighting game perspective, every once in a while there's kind of like that joke character, like a Dan Hibiki, or I guess you could even say an Akuma to some degree, because Dan's kind of like a joke, and Akuma's overpowered, but I mean, oftentimes pretty overpowered. But he has such a low health pool. That's kind of the way I feel with the Assault. Like, he's definitely not noob friendly. If you want to play the game on hard mode to test your fundamentals, I definitely that's the way I feel about Assault. I think that once his pack is fixed, so it doesn't randomly miss, or he doesn't go flying off cliffs and being stuck down with hordes, I think once that stuff's fixed, he's a really good test your metal class. I know some people like him and they want to be more noob friendly, but just get better. That's what I think. Vanguard. Vanguard is just nutty good with Melta. If you're a new player, you could use the hook, but or the grapnel launcher, and get yourself in a bit of trouble. But that's not even really possible with the Melta rifle. It's just you just hook in and you delete stuff, and it's just kind of nice. All these talents, pick whatever you like. I think I'm sure there's some good ones. I'm sure there's some bad ones, but as I've heard some people mention, the one that's really good is the Adrenaline Rush. Melee kills of Majoris level or higher enemies restore health by 10%. This is just super nice if you want to play a little bit more passive, and let's say you have the Gene Seed. I think you're one of the best, besides the Bulwark, for carrying the Gene Seed. But this Adrenaline Rush, I know it sucks, it's at the very end, but you just grit it out until you get to this, and it's all sauce. He's a good class to learn the game with, because you got the primary, the secondary, and I know some people they love the fantasy, the chainsword, but it's got a really, really weird parry window sometimes. If it comes to like 4 or 5 warriors on my ass, or in my face or my ass, I just can't parry them as well with this chainsword. And it's only the chainsword, as far as my experience, that has this weird window in comparison to others. I can't really explain it yet, but I feel like I believe I can feel the difference. So I always go with the knife. The knife is it's really fast. Man, the parry window's great. If you're in trouble, or say you're focusing down a Majoris, you can do a heavy attack spin after you do a combo on them to get the stuff off you to a pretty decent degree. You can close the distance. The shoulder charge comes out really, really fast. You can do real cool stuff where you just shoulder charge the enemies out of the way, and then you go back to your primary target, or shoulder charge to a left, or shoulder charge to a right. It's just really quick. It comes out lightning fast. So I like the chainsword. I'll tolerate it on like the tactical. But with the Vanguard, I don't see its benefits over the knife. I do like the stomp on the chainsword, but man, the knife is just so fast. It's so fast. Plus, the other thing with the chainsword, you have the heavy punch, which puts them into a gun strike. But why do that when I can just cleave all around me? I guess it's not as fast, but it's just weird. You'd think a knife would not be so good at crowds. But it's really good. I definitely recommend it. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but my preference is definitely the knife. Once you get pretty good with it, it's I don't know. Check it out, see if you like it. Bulwark. This guy, man, he is just. I know that there's talk of a bug about this rejuvenating effect. I'm pretty sure it's rejuvenating effect. I don't know, but its ability to just give you or an ally or somebody that's downed just massive contested health. You could knock something into execute range and just leave it for a buddy or take it yourself. Just super, super good. The biggest issue I see with a lot of Bulwark players is they don't block very often. You would be amazed if you do take the shock grenade, how often you can, like, once that drops and then there's a ton of little Minoris there, you can just pop down shield and maybe wait for a parry. You don't need to jiggle your ass all over the fucking map as soon as you drop that shock grenade and never use it. If mine drops, it's shields to the ground more often than not, and I just stand there and I watch them all die within that big AoE, and it can take down stuff crazy quick. Play around with it definitely, but never forget you can block. You can shield bash, just knock enemies away. You don't always have to be swinging all the time. I don't know, use the block, it's there. When it comes to weapons, I mean, this is where I'm going to be massively biased. I believe all other weapons pale in comparison to the might of the fucking power sword. Now, to reiterate, or to to walk back a little bit and talk about my weapons, they are all fencing. I personally really like the power of parry. I don't really care for balance. Balance to me, I mean, I'm sure it could be good. Maybe there's somebody out there that does well with it, but the power of like parry is just so good. At least I really enjoy it. Even now with the power sword, my cleave potential is 2. But you have whirl stance. Whirl stance is nuts. At least I think that's what it's called. Yeah, if I'm fighting groups and I want to thin the herd, I go whirl stance. I'll swing, one direction. I'll swing the other direction. I'll swing the other. I will hold things down or try to hold things down in pretty much a whole 360-degree area or radius or however you say it. And yeah, I love the whirl stance. I don't even believe I really need cleave. Maybe whirl stance on block weapon. The cleave is just crazy big. But I'm happy with how it is with just 2 in whirl stance. And then you have the stance change, which I really enjoy. I'll use whirl stance to, again, crowd control a lot of the enemies. Gun strike here and there, because the gun strike, like, it just opens up gun strike so often. And then when I switch to, I think it's called speed stance, but my brain always wants to call it single target stance. But I'll switch to that to take out Majoris, and it handles them pretty quickly. Just remember, you can't heavy attack from, let's say, neutral, or... Yeah, you can't really heavy attack. You'll just change your stances. So just make sure you throw... If they're getting ready to reinforce, you throw out a single light attack, and then go into a heavy. Or the other neat thing you can do with this, once you play around with it for a bit, once you master the relationship between whirl stance and speed stance and the enemies, and then you master or get good with a single swing into a heavy attack in order to stagger. There's this nifty thing where after you swing once, I believe with a light attack, you can just kind of hang out for a moment, and he'll kind of hold the sword like he's getting ready for a, I don't know, anime protagonist slash. And he does that, as far as 40k goes. You swing with the light attack, and you just kind of wait, which is really fun to use on a Majoris that you feel might be retreating. And then you hit the button again, and you'll do, a whirly swing into a jumpy cool man Link sword plummet, My descriptions are ass. But yeah, very very good weapon. Plasma pistol. I mean, I guess you could use the bolt pistol, but having the ability to reach out and touch someone with a Hadouken to the face, I'm gonna go with. I'm always gonna go with the plasma gun on this guy. The more and more I play, I feel if I have the option to go with a plasma pistol, I'm gonna take it. It's just really nice to be able to hit those targets. The charge up hit to the head is pretty substantial. I mean, it's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage. I believe plasma is good if you can hit your if you could take your shots, take your shits. Nurgle. Yeah, where was I? The plasma pistol is just really nice if you can hit those shots. The damage is there, and yeah, I just find it to be if you have the option to use it, I generally will use it depending on my ammo economy. If I don't have to really worry about ammo because I have the power sword, I'm gonna take the plasma pistol. If I have to worry about ammo, let's say on like the heavy, yeah, let's say the heavy, and I'm using a Melta. Well, man, I take that back. I guess I guess I just prefer the pistol if I'm not too sure how I'm going to perform with the main weapon. And then once I get more comfortable, then I switch to the plasma pistol. But bolt pistol, great if you just need the massive amounts of ammo economy. And plasma pistol if you're feeling pretty comfortable with your main weapon. So I always take it on bulwark. I think I actually used the higher ammo one. Yeah, I guess I do use the higher ammo one just because it's like an in-between decision. Sniper. I cover everything on this guy. Make sure you block. Whirl stance, speed stance. The other weapons are, they're just not for, I mean, I'm sure they're great, but not for me. Sword and board all day. Okay, sniper. This boy is the most terribly used strong boy on the field, man. He is a straight killer for sure. But when it comes to your ability to support your team, I believe besides the heavy's full heal when he picks people up, I believe the sniper is second to none on support. The big thing with this boy, he's got a couple of big things, I think. The Medicae Adept. I'm not going to be shooting at block and shielding guys because, I mean, I'm just probably not going to be doing it. If it's a fucking warrior, I'm fighting him in melee. We're not bitches here. Melee damage is increased by Majoris. I mean, you have a sniper rifle. The Medicae Adept. You revive squad members 30% faster. This paired with performing 4 consecutive headshots restores equipment charged by 1. Cooldown is 180 seconds. I'm a dipshit. That's not the one I was talking about. After camo breaks. Oh yeah, there we go. Headshot kills restore camo cloaks charged by 5%. If you're hitting dudes in the head constantly, your camouflage is going to be up so often that you can use it for offense, you can use it for defense, and then you can use it for utility. And just kind of what I mean by utility is you can use it to res your teammates. Oh my gosh, it is just so helpful for resing teammates. And the reason why I like the resing the teammates on the sniper is oftentimes I will have massive amounts of hordes of just angry boys coming over to beat the brakes off me. And rather than me dealing with it, I just pop my camo cloak. I watch them go after my teammate, and now he's got to deal with all of my problems. The least I can do is, while he tanks those ads, I pick them off now with my weapons, and then if he falls, I just go pick him up, and it's all good. Plus, the great thing is it's like if they've collected their 2 stims and haven't been proactively using it, which I believe you should only ever do in certain occasions, one occasion being if you're the gene seed carrier. Other than that, just fight with that low health and go down and let somebody pick you up. At least with this, a sniper in your group, you know that you're always going to get picked up, especially if you have the camo cloak charge. And then you have that stacked with this, the squad renewal. A headshot kill restores ability charge by 10%. I'm pretty sure... Yeah, I know these two stacks, so this is helping you, and this is helping your teammate. So that assault marine can get up in the air and explode all the lemmings a lot more. Your heavy, your heavy can pop his shield more often. You get more auspex charge. But the big thing is for you is you're just getting your camo cloak back, a crazy amount. Which again, you can help your teammate with the Medicae Adept. And man, I didn't really even look at this. I don't know. I'm sure there's other stuff that's pretty good. You should use what you like this for last fusil, this for the bolt carbines, I guess. Bolt sniper rifles. Now, I know the last fusil is super popular with a lot of people. I guess I kind of get it. It does a lot of damage, but for me at least, I don't know. I like the Bolt sniper rifle a lot more, and I guess to go into a couple of reasons why I think this is when I started with the sniper, I was using the last fusil a lot, but I noticed that when it came to hip firing, I was getting used to a charge. So when I switched to the Bolt sniper rifle, or even other classes when it came to hip firing, I would constantly be holding the button down, and it was just like throwing me off. I don't know. The last fusil is cool, but it's just like it's more plasma rifle-y for me than a sniper rifle. That's why I like the Bolt sniper rifle more. Then also in the perk tree, when you get this reload restoration, which is on a couple other weapons as well, after reloading, your ammo reserve is restored by 50% of the number of enemies hit, kind of exceed maximum ammo capacity. So if you're hitting all your shots, you're going to have a ton of ammo. Now, imagine you're fighting Carnifex. I'm sure you can do a lot more damage with the last fusil. You can also do a lot more damage with the last fusil's talents, where you can if you hit 2 or more, you get a charge back. But I just like the consistency of the reload restoration. I've just fired upon Carnifexes in the face, or Neurothropes, or whatever it may be. I just fired on them for just so long, and then after the fight's over, I still have a ton of ammo. Yeah, and when you look at these, I should probably unlock this 15 damage one just to see the difference. But, I know the laser goes through things and go through teammates. They're both really good weapons. I'll unlock this just so I don't sound like I'm full of shit. But it's hard for me to get off this Bolt sniper rifle. I just really, really like it. It doesn't fuck with my fingers when it comes to playing other classes. I have tons of ammo. I do hip fire a decent amount, which when they're close, you're probably going to hit them. It might not be in the head, but you can get that that shot out and then go immediately into a knife attack. I've spoken about my praises for the knife. The biggest thing that I find the most fucking infuriating about snipers, when I was mentioning about being support, when you knock a warrior into execute, look and see where your friendlies are, and leave it the fuck alone if they're close. You don't have to be wasting bullets to kill the enemy. You've already knocked it into execute. Let your bulwark get his armor back. Like he's up there meat shielding the fucking planet for you. You're camo cloaking, so now he's got more garbage to deal with. Stop fucking shooting the execute rage enemies unless there's nobody there. If your boys are there, you leave him there for them to execute. They execute them. Some of them have talents to do AoE damage. Some of them get their health back. Stop fucking wasting your goddamn ammo on shit that you've already neutralized. Use your brain. This helps everyone in the team. It helps you. It helps your teammates. Your teammates help you because now they have armor, and you're not being fucking annoying. You're a goddamn sniper. I don't know, maybe this is my military-minded brain, but the whole fantasy of the sniper is neutralizing a target and helping your team, giving them fire support. Stop fucking shooting shit that could be a benefit to the team. It's fucking annoying. You don't look cool, you just look stupid. Yeah, knock them into execute. Check your fucking surroundings, 2 eyes open, and see if it benefits your team more to leave him there and execute. I've keeping those bulwarks and those vanguards or the assault marine, keeping those guys with full armor benefits them just a lot. If you're a mile out, it's just a waste. It's fucking stupid. Figure it out. I can't really comment too much on the heavy. I think it's a great class. I play it like a fucking degenerate with the Melta, and I go in, and, I'll melt a strike and then immediately hit them with the gun. 1, 2, 3, heavy stomp, then parry. I can't really go against 5 or 4 or 6 or however many warriors as easily on this guy unless I'm spamming the Melta. But Melta, I personally believe, is more for the little guys to thin them out. If you're really good with map knowledge, I guess you could spam it a lot more, especially if the relic version with 30 magazine capacity, and then on top of that you have the plasma pistol, so you can multi-Melta the little guys, plasma pistol the big guys. If you're knowledgeable about when your ammo box is coming up, or if there is an ammo box, he's just a pretty simple class. His only weakness, I believe, is you don't have a fencing weapon, so you got to be pretty on point with your positioning. The big one, I believe. Okay, so we have all members take 20% less damage from range attacks. Ammo capacity for all squimbers increased by 25%. I personally believe that the bonds of brotherhood I believe this is way more important than all this other shit. You're a fucking heavy. You should know how to fucking control. You should know not to be blowing your load on only Melta shots and not using your plasma gun. You should be knowing not to just completely ignore your melee attacks. You're a fucking space marine. Know when to use your weapons. This 25% increase, I just think this is it's a great thing to have early on, but I think it's for noobs or morons. This is the one that you need. Get your you're already kind of in the back. You got the Melta to clear things out. You can pop your shield to block ranged if range, or if you're taking heavy fire. Get your teammate up. This not only gives them full HP, but if you think on an even higher tactical level, no one should be using stims unless it is to remove their wounds. You go all the way, you get 2 stims as soon as you can. As soon as you fucking get dropped, somebody's got to come pick you up. Now you have a wound. You pop the 2 stims to remove the wound immediately. If you have a relic, you don't press fucking F immediately to get yourself off the ground. Again, battlefield awareness. If you see that popping that relic is going to benefit the team more than not popping it, then I guess you could pop it. But more often than not, you should fucking enhance your goddamn discipline and your patience and keep your fucking face in the dirt until somebody comes and picks you up. If it is the heavy, he picks you up. You pop 1 stim with this perk. Your wound is gone. You fucking fall on your face again. because you refused to learn, or maybe you just made a mistake. He picks you up. You pop your second stim. Again, your wound is removed. Let's say you are just a complete moron, and you happen to have, or the battlefield's just going very terribly, or maybe you're the smartest one in the group. You go down again, but you have a relic, the thingy jig on you. Your face is in the dirt for a third time. Leave it in the dirt. You'll get picked up. I hope this is making... I hope I'm not incorrect here, but I think my logic tracks. You get picked up the third time. Okay, well, you have that relic. It hasn't been spent because you didn't immediately press F because when you were a kid and they offered you a cookie, or they offered you to wait 10 minutes to get 10 cookies, your dumbass ate the fucking cookie. To be fair, I did too. But that's the difference between being 12 and being fucking whatever age everybody is. I'm pushing 40, but hey, man, I still do my best. A little slower than I used to be, but I'm trying. Yeah, so you get picked up the third time. You have full health. You have died essentially, or you've been downed 3 fucking times at this point. I'm pretty sure if again my memory doesn't escape me, you can get dropped a 4th time, and then the heavy comes and picks you up. Holy shit, your dumbass survived 4 fucking times. That's way better than being a stim fiend, never removing a wound. It's just crazy. These other 2 do not compare to a dumbass being able to live 4 fucking times. So long as that dumbass has enough trigger discipline to stop popping drugs all the time and blowing his relic. The heavy's crazy good in that regards. The rest of the stuff I can't really comment with any true, what's the word? I can't be 100% certain in my words when it comes to anything else. Everything else is just like sauce, I guess. I don't really care personally about too much stuff. I'd assume you'd want to swap around some of these talents if you're using Plasma Gun or Melta. But Bonds of Brotherhood, man. If you got a team of pros, it's still arguable because shit happens. Your assault, your boy is like he's the weirdly good assault marine who's not fucking, you know, who doesn't just lick boogers off walls over combat prowess. It's gonna help. It's gonna help him too because he's gonna go up into the air. Maybe he fucking launches himself off a cliff. I guess that's not true because you'd have to go off the cliff as well. Let's go back a minute. Let's say he goes up into the air, and for some reason there's 3 snipers out there. Those are his biggest weakness. And let's say he does get his jetpack off, but he still gets clipped by those snipers because sometimes that shit can get like a little weird. This is going to be your best shot, even for your pro team. It's going to. I would suggest getting good with this, even though I'm just guessing. I have no real clue what the harder difficulty is going to be like, but I would assume that a full fucking health bar, even if that motherfucker is out of ammo, he can still parry and he can still stab shit. Health, I believe, is going to be. It's just a great fucking talent. It can help you carry. It can help you carry dummies. It can help you carry new players. That's about the extent of my knowledge on the heavy. Great fucking class. Yeah, I think they're all great classes. The only big one is the assault. In my opinion, really needs to not be getting fucked over when he slams into the ground. I don't know if it's a netcode issue. I don't know if it's a glitch. Yeah, the hate he gets is just it's just for dumbasses, I believe, who suck at the game, except for that jetpack issue. But those are my thoughts. I just post mostly me shutting the fuck up and playing the game. Anybody who wanted to listen to me about my thoughts on classes, you can tune out now. I'm just going to kind of ramble a bit, but um, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I just my YouTube is basically I talk a lot of shit, and it's not really to bully anyone. If I have a zit on my face, I want somebody to fucking tell me. That's kind of how I feel. So if somebody says something incorrect, I'm gonna want to tell them. I guess we'll just wait on this screen. So I talk a lot of shit, and I post this stuff on this YouTube specifically so if I'm talking trash and not backing it up. My dad always said, "Don't write checks that your ass, or don't write checks with your mouth that your ass." Wow! Don't write checks with your mouth that your ass cannot cash. I think he meant that more as in don't talk shit unless you're getting ready to get hit. That's the more current version. So yeah, if I'm going to be calling people out on something as trivial as like a video game, it's, mostly ironic, but at the same time, I want to be able to show my work. That way you can critique me, or if I'm kind of trashing on somebody's ability to speak or anything like that, I don't really mean that. I don't really feel that I deserve praise more than them. When it comes to life, I'm doing pretty okay. You give me 4 walls, a roof, and internet, and I'm pretty happy. I don't really covet shoes, Cadillacs, Corvettes, hot girls or whatever. That stuff's nice, but the way that I see it, or from my experiences or limited experiences, I mean, I've had pretty good experiences in a decent amount of things. There's always a give and take when it comes to that. You got a lot of money, you got the girls, but who really loves you? You got a lot of free time, and you don't have a lot of money. At least in my experience, I don't eat. I wasn't eating the best of foods, but god damn it, I bought some fucking mac and cheese from Aldi, and I got some fucking grass-fed beef. And then I would go to the other grocery store and I'd get some spicy tomato sauce or condensed soup, put that in. Dude, I eat on that for 2 days. Yeah, it's not steak. Yeah, I don't get to go out and eat all the time, but I'm not getting mad. I'm not just slamming away on this exotic thing called fucking all you can eat bread every time I go out to eat. My point is yeah, you eat shitty food, but you're not getting too fat when you're poor. But when you're rich, man, and you can just get all the ice cream you want, I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, that's my YouTube. That maybe I've never discussed it. It's just a place where I can record my gameplay after being a fucking loser online shit talker. I'm always wanting to learn, and if I hear some folks saying stuff from a place of authority, or I get that they all deserve their opinion, but I believe that there is a certain degree of where your opinion doesn't matter, to be honest. And again, I'll go on a tangent. I was working at a bar or a deli. Yeah, it was a bar and deli, and in this bar and deli, there would be a bunch of, let's just say, losers like myself, who would comment on professional football players, and they would call them buyer's remorse, or they say they're lazy, and I just don't agree with that. I think that you should kind of, in the words of Dwayne Johnson, know your role and shut your fucking mouth sometimes, unless you're doing it unless you're self-aware enough to realize that this is you're a mother hen or whatever, or a clucking hen, or you're just shit talking to pass the time. But you should know within your soul that no one who makes it to the NFL is buyer's remorse. And if they are, I don't think that us who didn't give up girls or games or anything like that in the gym can really comment on it with any form of certainty. like Shaq can kind of comment on how he feels the game is now, or who he doesn't think is living up to their expectations. And I believe we can say that too. But just know you open yourself up to ridicule. And yeah, I couldn't stand listening to these guys at the bar talking shit about these guys who like they're taller than you, they sacrificed more than you, and if you get called out on it, like you should be okay with that. You should be able to laugh it off, I believe, and say, you know what? I know I'm just being a hater. Anyways, that's all I got to say about Space Marine. Thank you if you watched my very first video where I actually talked about something I believed in. And I'll see you out there. Peace.